All right, another day, another chilly day. And what am I doing? What am I doing? Quick note. So, I don't know why. I don't know who does it, who is so lifeless and non-human. But it's been going on for quite some time. Somebody has made profiles with my photograph and the facts by howtohunt.com, and they start trying to talk to you guys in the comment section below apparently, and then they get you to go onto some app. It's not me. I don't even, I rarely even hit the comment section, period. So if you have an invite from somebody online to have a conversation with me in private, it ain't me. I'm sure the majority of you guys get it. It's pretty easy to see, but some people don't, and it's unfortunate. So please, if you see somebody coming on there trying to talk to you and it's me, it's not me. Now, what else? No Big Bear yet. Waited for him till dark. See what happens there. And I have to finish the rest of that email from yesterday. I had an important interruption. So, here we go. Let's carry on from yesterday right away, alright? The craft was about 9 feet tall and about 6 feet wide by 4 or 5 feet thick. It was some kind of glass, transparent in the front from their waists up, and on the sides the same. I remember thinking how it looked like something built by a man, but it had no seams or weld marks and no knobs or handles. It had 4 legs about 1 foot long on the 4 corners under it. It made no noise and did not disturb the powdery dust as it passed right through it. It made me think it was some sort of an observation type craft because of the clear top half, except the backside. It looked like the color of red oxide primer paint with no seams or seals. The beings inside wore white suits that fit like nothing we have on Earth. I did notice that both of them had a small box-looking protrusions from their left hip side of the front of their suits that was made into the suits. I thought for whatever type of air they needed to breathe. Their suits had no seams or even snaps, buttons, or zippers. I could not see either of their hands or feet. The one closest to me was huge. As I said, judging by the size of the one that was my size, I would say between 8 and 9 feet tall and very muscular. At the time, I was 6'1", 225 pounds, in very good shape. Seeing a UFO was not even in my mind at all. I was reminiscing what the view of my hometown looked like as a young boy, and the last time I had seen town from up on Highway 32 when this happened. It had to be anti-gravity technology, and I don't know how they controlled it. I could not see through their face shields. I wish I would not have tried so hard to see their faces and spent more time looking at the craft. It all happened so fast, even though they were only traveling about 5 miles per hour. I've only told 2 people in the whole world ever about this. My grandson and my sister. I think they both think I'm nuts or whatever. Neither one, ever asked one question about it. I was not under the influence of anything that night. I'll never forget it. I only regret not waving or touching the craft, and I often wonder why me. I hope if anyone else has ever seen a craft like that, they will write someone about it. This all happened in 1998. Thank you, and sir, for all you do. Warm regards, Larry. Larry, that's quite the frickin' experience. So, obviously, this is a good place to share crazy shit, right? I shouldn't say crazy, more like uncommon. And I have a funny feeling you're probably going to get bombarded in the comment section below in relation to what you saw. What is it that's going on? Haven't a clue. There's so much going on. So much going on. I wonder if, getting back to a lot of people talking about the DNA, what we really are, we were intentionally manipulated and created. If you look at it from that angle, then maybe we could try to look at us from a different angle and try to figure out, see all our qualities, good and bad, what we actually normally do, what's our most powerful component in us that moves us forward in different directions? What surges us in different areas harder and why? Hope I'm making sense. And try to figure out what qualities we have would back up the fact that somebody created us intentionally to do what we do. Does that make any sense? You know what I mean? So we think we are free beings. We're not. Prove me I'm wrong. So we can easily. What were some qualities of being a human being? What qualities do we have that would be attractive to someone who needed us to get in line? Do you know what I mean? I mean, how often do you actually look at us from that angle? What qualities do we possess that would make us attractive? Let's say you could barter us. All right? Again, or still, what qualities do we have that would make it attractive for a buyer? Well, let's see. We've been created with the urge to breed is probably the strongest urge that we have. Right? That power has caused wars. It drives people to do some crazy shit. I would guess that the Israeli government has all the American politicians in their pocket because of that drive, and they got them on video doing crazy shit, right, Epstein? Anyway, there's one. What else? We can be shown dark shit, manipulative shit, absolute wrong, dark things that are being done to us, and we won't do anything about it. That's an attractive characteristic for being a human, for being a human species and bartering in us, right? We will willingly go to work 7 days a week. Wow, that's really attractive. That's an attractive quality if I was to jump into bartering human beings. What else? We will go work for 7 days a week and we will give up over half of our income without putting up a fight. Holy shit. Wow. Man, whoever created human beings intentionally sure did a good job there. You guys have created the perfect slave for us. Good on you. Right? What's another characteristic we've been created with? We've been created with a characteristic to look at facts that truly expose our reality, and majority of us will ignore them, even though it's right in your face. Wow, that's a pretty attractive characteristic too if we were intentionally created. Don't you think? The list goes on, right? If we were to try to look at us from outside the box in a different angle to figure out if maybe possibly what kind of other hints and evidence would show that we were intentionally created and why. We are the perfect slave race. Nearly perfect. We are also created to intentionally wipe each other out and kill each other. Why would somebody benefit from that if we were a sellable species? Well, I guess that's pretty easy to knock off the old and the useless, right? The dumb, weaker, I don't know, who knows? I'm rambling and babbling, but you know what I mean? If we were trying to back up the statement that we were intentionally created, well, what were we created for, and what signs, what characteristics do we possess that back up that statement that we were intentionally created? Wow. Aside from looking at these unacknowledged other beings that are built powerful and do other crazy shit, let's focus back on us and try to figure our shit out. Like I said in the beginning, I don't think we're going to understand much until we figure out our truth, and it's not an easy thing to do. Why is that? Why is it so hard for us to figure out our truth? All right, there we go. Who's next? Who is next? It is chilly outside. All right, let's mark this as red and carry on. But think about it, you guys. Once we're done here, take a few minutes out and pretend that you are being bartered. And try to list on a piece of paper, whatever in your notes in your phone, list all of the characteristics we possess right now to make us attractive as a barterable species. It's endless. And it's in your face. My hunting is all screwed up, and it's my fault. It's a title of this email. I sent you an email a few months ago. I had to go looking for these beings. But the last time I went camping, they came around, and it was a bit too much. The tent was full. So I set up the screen tent to sleep in a zero-gravity chair. Full moon was out. Full moon was out for a while. About 1:30, the moon was starting to go down, and I could swear I seen a shadow at the end of the parking lot. I thought to myself, I'm just tired and need to sleep. It wasn't 10 minutes. The moon was gone, and 8 footsteps covered about 40 feet in front of me just inside the woods. I could hear leaves crushing and twigs snapping. I didn't move. I knew what it was. I had one within 3 feet of me before, but that is another experience. After about 30 minutes, I got out of the tent. Mother Nature was calling, and I had just bought a new camping toilet. And needless to say, I'm the first one to use it. I went to the back of the tent where the others were sleeping to get into a tote, typo, for baby wipes. And across the parking lot down the trail, I could hear a puppy barking. I'm just standing there looking. My 2 dogs are in the tent, and they were not hearing this, going nuts. My 2 dogs are in the tent, and they were not hearing this, going nuts. And I'm amazed. I stood there for a few minutes looking and seeing nothing. So I took care of my business and went to put the wipes back, and again I could hear the puppy barking. I could only hear this when I was at the back of the tent. So I stoked up the fire and just sat there looking up at the stars. Moon down, the stars were in full sight. But I could hear them in the woods on the other side of the parking lot. They even broke a tree or a big limb. And I looked down and said aloud, I know you're there. Why don't you come out and talk to me? Nothing but movement. Note, in the screened-in tent with me, I had a shotgun with deer slugs, video camera, night vision binoculars, parabolic listening devices. I just left it sitting there. It's like I didn't care. Normally, I would have been trying to get sound, video, or anything, but I didn't care. About an hour before daybreak, I hear a yell from a ways off, and they were getting called in. I guess they all left, but I think the one that was keeping me in a don't give a damn mode was still hanging around. The trip was supposed to be for 2 nights, but we packed up and left when everyone got up. I'd gotten no sleep, and it was going to be 100 degrees that day. I was a bear. My point is, it was like they were trying to get me to come into the woods or take me. That's how I felt. But I just moved to the area in February 21, so I don't know any landowners, so I'm stuck with conservation ground. I went to go hunting yesterday morning before daybreak. January 1st, 2022. I could not get out of my truck where I parked in the very same parking lot where most of my experiences have happened. My mind was in a tug-of-war about get out and go. Don't get out till daybreak. I headed out after daybreak and got to a good spot. I felt lots of walnuts and acorns with tree rubs all around me. I sat there for about 30 minutes before I started to do some calls. I noticed it was dead quiet. No birds, nothing. Dead quiet, except for someone going crazy with a shotgun not far away. I did my calls and had nothing. I've always been lucky with this one call as long as some deer was in hearing range. After 3 hours, I abandoned my spot and went on a walk deeper into the woods. Nothing. Not even a bird. All I found was broken trees and saw prints. Not even a deer track. So I got out of there. I moved here in the middle of nowhere, about 15 miles either direction to work or food. I moved here in the middle of nowhere, but 15 miles either direction to work or food. Gotcha. Means 15 miles to get to work or a store. The creek that is behind my house goes straight to their area out to the Mississippi River. I've heard these beings yelling down the creek from my house. I just hope they don't find me. Too late. I got trail cams pointing in all directions in my backyard along the creek. I noticed a few hours ago one had been messed with. It's facing downward. Too high for the dogs to get to. I'll have to send you how I got into looking for these beings and just what all has happened. I'm sure it may be able to help someone. There is no way You want to read an hour-long message, so I'll have to break it down to several. You're doing a great job keeping the people informed, and it does mess people up. I know. And I always keep telling myself I wouldn't let this affect me. You can use my name. I'm about to hit 60, and I don't care about the ridicule. One of your biggest fans, Eric Potts. Eric, I don't give a shit if it's 3 hours, man. Send it. Or let her rip. Get it out here. Please. Look at this. This is January 2nd, 2022 is when I had this email to me originally. There's thousands in here, man. You see what I mean? You just got to get it all out one go. As a hint, though, if you do have a long one, just try to leave out, like your cousin's birthday and what you did at a party the other day and you had to fix a flat tire and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, get to what you saw, what you learned, what scared the living shit out of you, how it affected you, what you maybe did to deal with that episode in life. I know it's not easy to write emails. I'm not good at it. I'm not even good at reading them. Send it, man. If you're still here, Eric, please, send away. Did I read this or I get screwed up. Memory came back to me after watching you for 2 years. That sounds familiar. Steve, thank you for your platform of truth and knowledge. These emails are amazing and thought-provoking. It has helped me remember something happened to my family while cutting firewood. My name is Mike S. You can use my name, as most people think I'm crazy or goofy anyway. I don't care. I'm from Pleasant Gap, Pennsylvania, right in the center of the state near State College. We were cutting firewood on a permit from the state DNR in a state forest called Greens Valley. It's a virtually uninhabited valley between two mountains. Very large wilderness area, a couple miles wide by several miles long. Not like the mountains out west, but very wild, wooded area. Anyway, I was about 6 or 7 years old, so 81 or 82. We were several miles in the woods on Greens Valley Road, cutting out deadfall and felling trees along the road. The whole family helped put wood into the truck after Dad cut it up. It was the four of us. Mom, Dad, sister, me. We had a 77 Ford F-150 Ranger, 4x2 pickup. It was dark green, single cab. Double cabs were a rare option back then. I was standing on the passenger side of the bed of the truck. Mom was at the back. My sister was off to my left in front of me. When Dad comes running out of the woods, chainsaw still running, yelling to my mom, "Get the kids in the truck." And just as he yelled that, a 40-foot tall, very full pine tree started shaking. I mean the whole friggin' tree. Not sure if the grunting I heard was my dad or something else. I think it was something else, but I'm not 100% sure. Me personally, I never seen anything, just the big pine shaking. I wasn't scared, but very curious as to what was happening. No doubt. Then I remember my mom grabbing me, piling me into the truck. Me on my mom's lap, and as soon as the truck started, Dad tore off out of there, and all he said was, it was a panther, a mountain lion. He told that story several times to people he knew, and I always referred to it as a panther. Now, I'm no biologist or animal expert in any means, but observational behavior of mountain lions in captivity, they don't seem to shake whole trees while in them, or moving around in them. I'm sure I know what it was, but I never saw anything. May have heard a sabe, but again, not 100% sure. Anyway, that's been one experience in the woods that I can't explain by any other logical means. I've seen ghosts and a mysterious light in the sky that didn't move in a conventional way. I'm a railroad engineer with almost 25 years on the railroad, seen a lot of crazy stuff, mostly in the cities. I've seen ghosts along the tracks, no explanations. Never seen any other cryptic life. My wife and I moved to Ohio in '02. Stayed in some very remote campgrounds and never had anything bad happen except for wild raccoons, skunks, and snakes. Anyway, thank you for this outlet and to tell our stories. You do a great job with reading the people's stories. Keep up the great work. Mike S. from Salem, Ohio. Mike, appreciate it, man. And now, if your dad is still alive, You know what I'm going to see if you want to do? Go ask him. Hound him. Bug the shit out of him. Get him to cough it up. Maybe even send him one of these videos from here somewhere. And let him listen first and then drop it on him. See if he might get the courage to share what he really saw. Right? You know as well as I do, a cat doesn't shake a big tree. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And also, big cats do not try to scare you away. Right? They just sit and watch in dead silence under the cover. Follow us. Keep out of sight. See us way before we see them. The eyeballs on cats is unbelievable. Unbelievable. But anyway, on a quick note on that, I can share this on cats. One time I was hunting a spot, one of my remote spots, and it's actually, this happened about 200 yards from where I showed you guys that picture of me on the side of the mountain with 4 big logs, all with the tips leaning off the side of the mountain to one tree. That spot. And there's one long draw where they were starting to cut in a tiny power line to feed a cell tower, new cell tower back then. There's drizzling rain. And I got up and I peeked my head up over this rock. So just from my chin up, peeked my head up and I could see about 350 yards. And on this green moss covered rock face, I could see something was there. And then I put my binoculars up, and if it wasn't 2 cougars, one laying down, one standing up, and the second I went like this, they already were watching me. 350 away, saw me from here up. I put the binoculars up and they went poof, gone. At 350. Now think about it in the timber, what they see before us, right? A little bit of a ramble there. Sorry. Cats have got amazing eyesight. That's why you rarely ever see them in the timber. This email is titled Signs. Hey, Steve. I'm going to shoot that rooster. Hey, Steve, have you ever seen anything like this on a tree? No. That's an odd one. Don't you think? I can't say it's a saw-based sign or not, but there are some people reporting they find it. Hello, Round Table family. My name is Dale Wilson. Of course, you can speak my name. Everyone else does. I believe in the sabe. Can't say I know because I haven't had any eye contact, but maybe I had some sort of experience when I was very young. I think when I was 7, maybe 8 years old. Me and my niece and nephew were sleeping in our hunting camper in East Texas near Palestine, Texas. Near Palestine, Texas. This one night we got woke up all of a sudden by the camper being tilted up by the tongue of the trailer, dumping me out of the top bunk. Needless to say, we were very startled and not understanding what was going on or how it happened and scared shitless. We didn't even try to go outside to find out. We just stayed hunkered down and waited for my dad and brother to come back from their overnight stay in their treehouse stands from the following morning's hunts. They were just as confused as we were. Couldn't explain to us how this happened or give us any reason for it either. But we just reset the trailer back up and continued with our camping trip like, oh well, it happened and that's it. See, we're the perfect species to be dumb, right? We all do it. Huh, crazy. 2 million people saw a 10-foot tall hairy dude in the forest. Wow. Back to America's Got Talent on TV or something ridiculous, you know. Sorry, rambling. That night, we never heard any noises or any other signs of Bigfoot. Just that one instance. And that's all. So I can't really say if it was Bigfoot or not, but I like to think it may have been. Pretty sure it sounds probable, right? Nonetheless, I respect all the people that do, and I love hearing all their stories and experiences, and yes, yours too, Steve. I love the How to Hunt family and the friends, and Steve, I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you and the families and the family to save our great nations when the call to flip the tables on these sick sons of bitches that are taking our freedoms away from us. But we do have to play our cards right to win this battle over communism and tyranny, because they would love nothing more than to frame us all in their own crimes of humanity. They are masters of words, projections, and extortion. They us against us to obfuscate their own criminal acts. I think he meant they pit us against us. They've been brainwashing the masses for decades, and it really shows how bad it is right now. But I also believe we will overcome this evil amongst us one way or another. God always prevails with the people that believe. We just have to do it the right way for the success we seek to have. Love you, man. Semper Fi. Carry on from Central Texas. Friendship, whereas. All right, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that email. I wouldn't want to be in a camper that got tilted up in the air in the middle of the night so high it dumped me out of the bunk. That would suck. Especially for me, because I would know exactly what's going on. And then I would all of a sudden feel like a sardine in a tin can, right? I felt that way when that cabin was getting slapped above my head when I was by myself and there's no lights outside. No phone, no nothing. And then a few years ago when I was up in the farthest northwest corner of British Columbia, which is surrounded by the Yukon and Alaska, the Tachinshini. And we were in this outfitter's cabin. Remember I shared that with you guys, and the cabin was getting shook or rubbed on or something at, I think it was 9:30 at night. And I only had video gear with me, no gun. My partner had a rifle. It was his hunt for sheep. And I grabbed his rifle and I bailed out of that cabin. And we were above timberline. There is no way any grizzly bear would have made it away from that cabin without me seeing it or hearing it. Nothing. Then we hiked away, came back. 3 days later, hit the same cabin. 9:30 at night, again the cabin shakes. Huh? And I dove outside with the rifle. Nothing. Sorry, just took me back to feeling like a sardine in a can, right? All right, here's another one. No subject, no title. Hi, Steve. I found this in my email drafts folder. Couldn't find it in sent folder. Hopefully not a double tap, although I did edit it just a bit now. I want to drop you a line and thank you for the day on the water. We all had a great day. Thank you. Huh, cool. Somebody came fishing last summer. I watched the video you posted afterwards. It would have been a great day even without catching fish. Please don't interpret our silence for anything other than being quiet and enjoying the experience. My grandfather was a man of few words. I'm much like him. I did have questions for you that I remembered after the fact. Oops. I've had many days of fishing with no fish and hunting days that were slow. That's just the way it goes. It all beats being here at work. Don't feel bad about it, please. Oh, so that was that slow day. We still got fish, but it was slow. Mule deer, all right. I don't know if this is even a share for everybody here. It's all for me about hunting and fishing. Okay, gotcha. On to another topic. The big beings. Many years ago, one of my dad's friends told me about something he saw in a small town in Saskatchewan. Cut knife. There's some funny names in Saskatchewan, isn't there? Cut knife. Where do you live? I live in Cut Knife. Where they both lived. One night, Terry was driving out to the highway from town, about a half-kilometer drive. As he was driving there, he saw a being that he described as huge and had very long arms, like past its knees. He turned around to have another look, and it had vanished. Terry was a straight shooter and a great friend of my dad. I can only assume by his description that he had seen one of these beings. No doubt. So glad that both you and Sarah got your elk. Congratulations, Sarah, for joining the hunting club. It's a lifestyle. I too am itching for hunting season soon. Maybe I'll get that white-tailed my bow this year. You will. You'll get it, man. Thanks for that email. Appreciate it. I'll check that mule deer out too after I'm done here. Good luck this fall. Cut knife, Saskatchewan. One thing's for certain, these beings don't leave out too much on the planet, do they, for being seen? They don't leave out too much of a gap between sighting destinations around the world. How do they do that? All right, here we go. Recent, the mask on your wall. It's the title of this email. Hello, Sarah and Steve, and my friends at the round table. For some time now, I've been meaning to send this in. Every time I see the mask on your wall, I have flashbacks of the female Sabe eating cherries out of my cherry tree. Approximately 3 years ago, I was in my wood shop working late in the evening, and my Rottweiler, Reno, was barking at something aggressively. So, I grabbed a small flashlight and peeked out of the door and what he was barking at. I seen it as up by the barn, barking up in the cherry tree, and I noticed the eye shine. And I thought it was these 2 raccoons that I see around here all the time. I just put net over the tree to keep the birds out. I decided that's it. I've had it with these 2 raccoons. So I went back in the wood shop, snuck through my mechanic shop and into the house, and grabbed my 17 HMR. That's a rifle. What? The night scope on it, I turned back through the shops and snuck up the ramp towards the barn. When I was about 50 feet away, I bit down on the pillow that turns on the light on the scope. We got some typos, but no big deal, we got it. And to my surprise, I didn't know what I was looking at first. Let me try to make sense of that. I bit down on the pillow that turns on the light from the scope. Bit of a typo correction there. That would have been an interesting text you were sending somebody originally. Anyway. And to my surprise, I didn't know what I was looking at first. It had long black hair and a face on it. I thought, what the heck am I looking at? I seen the long black hair sway to one side and reveal a face. What in the? The second it realized that I was aiming a gun at it, it jumped up over a 12-foot fence. 8 foot of horse fencing with 2 strands of ball bar on top. And when it hit the ground on the other side of the fence, it landed with a thud of a 300-pound man. I ran down the hill through the garden trying to head it off, and it went the other way. For a brief second, I thought I saw breast on it, I believe. It was a juvenile female Sabe. Since then, every time I see that mask on your wall, it reminds me of that exact moment. That cherry tree was loaded with cherries, and there was a cherry on the tree. There wasn't, oh, sorry. That cherry tree was loaded with cherries, and there was, I think he meant not one cherry on the tree the next day. Last year, I lost all the cherries again. So this year, I thought I would put one of my game cameras up there. I put new batteries in it and aimed it right at the cherry tree, up close. So when the cherries were just ready to pick, I should have picked them, but I was busy doing something else and didn't get to it. So I go up to that cherry tree one day, and there it's empty again. And I'm pissed now. So I bring the SD card down, put it in my camera to read, and see what's on it. There's cherries in that tree, and then there's just a bright light. So like you shine in a flashlight right into it in the camera. Okay, so it goes bright, and the next picture, there's no cherries on the tree. All right, so what you meant was that video came on of the cherry tree, and it showed a light shining at your trail camera like a flashlight's pointing at it. Okay? Got it. And the next picture, there's no cherries in the tree. I put the camera there thinking it would keep the sabe from my cherry tree. Well, sure enough, the batteries were dead. Also, about a week before this incident, I had early one morning, I heard a loud bang on this. Oh, I had a loud bang on the side of my house, which has happened before. And when I go out to look at what hit my house, I find my Rottweiler Reno in his old doghouse that he hasn't been in since he's a puppy, and he wouldn't come out. And the next day, I noticed he was limping real bad. So I took him to the vet, and he had a broken knee, and his hips were all messed up. I gave him medication throughout the summer, and then he passed. That dog was never afraid of nothing. But whatever banged him up and put him in that meeting, sorry you guys, but whatever banged him up and put him in that meeting was going that doghouse. Sorry, there's typos, you guys. Nothing I can do about it. That is what's much too big for beats the hell out of me. On another note, I was doing a job for some friends in American River Canyon, and the neighbor come and told me about the sabe eating his goats and pissing on his dump truck tires every night. And I had seen a big stump on the hill when all these deer came up to me within hand's reach. And when I looked away, the stump was gone. I believe that it was something that was telling him in my head that I'm only looking at a tree stump, about 10 feet tall and 4 feet across. So, in my winter excursions across the river on the other side, we're up on the Slate Mountain, and my friend calls me over to look at a large turd he had found. It's full of needles, berries, in a long single dropping. He had already taken a stick and broken it up before I could get a picture. I also found prints where he had went from upright down to all fours. I took the best picture I could of it, but like I said, it's hard to get a good angle on it, but you could. You could definitely see all the toes. Whether the mud is squeezed up between the toes, like you said, Steve, it's hard to go anywhere without looking at it constantly for dark spots or anything odd. I'll try my best to send the pictures. And also, there has been a 10-footer on the property, and he's sporting some of Sarah's swag. Huh? There has been a 10-footer on the property, and he's sporting some of Sarah's swag. I'll include that also. You have my permission to use my name. John Oneshell from Hangtown, California. Okay, man. What do we got here? Here's some pictures. All right, man. For me, I wasn't there. But I can tell you that I'm a professional hunting guide of many years, and for me, if I looked at that photo anywhere on the ground, that's bear shit. That's bear shit. The photo. I don't see anything squashed. I see the outline of the moss, but I'm not seeing any heavy squashed sign of the ground. You know, all those pebbles would have been flattened right level into that mud. But I wasn't there. You never know. I don't know, man. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing if I'm looking at these photos, all right? But nothing squashed down like 800 pounds stood there. There's the 10-footer with Sarah's goodies. Crazy. Look at that. There he is. The king of the club and no return right there. And there you go. A bright light in the cherry tree and they're all gone. Crazy, right? That's crazy. Appreciate that email, my man. Big time. Appreciate it. Another member of the Club of No Return. Didn't ask, can't leave. No matter what. Isn't that kind of frustrating in a way? No matter what. Once you are included in this club, you'll never escape. It's not possible. Isn't that crazy? You didn't even have to sign a contract. You're in for life. Nothing you can do about it. Once you know, you know. Iridescent blobs to title this email. Steve, I debated on sending in my experience until tonight. when my husband and I heard the story you read about the white blob running across the road. My experience happened coming home from Klamath Falls, Oregon on 138E back in 1989. My little brother and I had taken a trip to visit my family, and we were headed back around 8 p.m. or so. We happened to come around a corner when this huge blob of white went across the road. It was as big as my car, which was a Datsun B210. The only way I can describe the movement was a super high-speed inchworm. The appearance was literally a huge blob. It happened so fast. We pulled over and tried to see if we could see it going through the trees off of the road, but there was nothing there. This experience has always bothered me because there is no explanation for what we've seen. My husband and I listen to you every night. I want to thank you for sharing the truth, even the hard truths that some still don't want to see. You and my husband are so much alike, it's almost scary at times. LOL. Stay safe and never stop fighting for the truth. Nikki Reed. Okay, Nikki? Tell your husband I feel sorry for him. Just kidding. Just kidding. There you go. How many times have people seen some absolute crazy-ass shit, right? And there you go. Backing up what I said in the beginning of the video, how we are that we're the perfect creative species, possibly, potentially, if we were to be bartered. We see all this shit, and we are too scared to admit it publicly or tell the rest of the human herd. Perfect! What a perfect quality to have if we were to be a species created to get in line. Perfect. Who came up with that characteristic? Right? And I know I'm not out of line sharing that shit, or sharing that angle to look at. Now, here's the, some people might not have seen the mask. Where is it? There it is. How am I here? I'm on the laptop, right? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh, gotta go that way. And then, why can't I? Oh, there we go. How's that? It's way above my head. There. There is the mask. It is. All right, I gotta go. Gotta get this day rolling. My days are numbered here. Well, my days are numbered altogether, just like all of us. I don't like wasting one, so what do I gotta do now? I gotta go get my pressure washer going in this cold frickin' air and wash everything that got filthy doing our chickens the other day. Return the plucker I borrowed. Get my trailer hooked up. And carry on doing shit. Tons of shit to do. I have a countdown. I think I have about, I don't know, was it 23rd today or something? I got a week left here, and then I'm going north. I'm going north for as long as it takes. And then what else? I have to go remote coast here to grab my 7 last cameras I've left in the woods for huge elk. That'll be interesting to see what's on there. I'll get that done pretty quick. Maybe harvest that huge bear before I go. Get him in the freezer. Get that rug. Yep, people shoot bears. Yep, they eat them. And they're great dog food. And for all you people that knee-jerk get angry at hunting, at this stage of the game, who knows? I hope not. I hope not. But for all the people out there that frown upon hunting, there may be a pretty good chance that you might just wish you knew how to hunt pretty quick. You never know. Let's hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm done with the emails reading you guys, and I'm going to a couple more quick notes on that. So apparently there's a piss load of advertisements on my channel for the American Democratic Party, apparently. That's kind of funny, isn't it? I know I have nothing to do with putting them there. Out of my control. But you got to admit, like sometimes when I go to bed, I'll put in an earbud, so I got one ear that I can hear, and one ear I'll be listening to somebody talk. Holy shit! Has there been no shortage of absolute head shake circus content hitting the mainstream internet lately, right? Especially with that one particular woman in her interviews. Oh my God! It's like this can't even be real life when you're watching this shit. What else? I want to share this too. A funny one. This is a funny one. I won't go down the political road right now, but here's a funny one. I keep forgetting to mention it. So Sarah has, what do we have? We have satellite here. We got Starlink here. And she has Netflix on there, which is kind of mindless. Whatever. But there's so much mindless shit on there. But anyway, when the TV first turns on in the evening, it goes to some internet TV, and all it is a whole pile of past TV shows from way back, like the Cops, the old Cops series, hits the screen instantly, starts playing a segment that was recorded in 1990, whatever. And then there's another one that comes on, Dog the Bounty Hunter. And I was laughing at Sarah the other night, went to bed, and she turned on the TV, and all of a sudden here's a segment of Dog the Bounty Hunter. And I'm like, what the hell? How's this even on? Because then you got to exit out of there to go on to Netflix. Anyway, what I was laughing at was, you see how this crew of people on Dog the Bounty Hunter is dressed and how they carry themselves in public. And I was laughing at Sarah. I go, you know what? Let's just pretend we're living here right now, which we are, rural. We don't know anything about this Dog the Bounty Hunter, dog shit TV or characters or nothing. We don't know anything. And all of a sudden, a shit-eaten Ford Expedition pulls up with these characters dressed the way they are, and they all bail out and start jumping over our fence coming towards the house. I cannot believe those people who have been shot dead. I will guarantee you, if anybody today bailed over the fence in front of my home and started closing into my home dressed like that, looking like that, and acting that way, they probably wouldn't leave. They probably would not leave on their feet. Right? Anyways, that was my funny thought last night and the night before, turning on the frickin' TV in the bedroom and that shit came on. And you watch for a second, shaking your head. Think about it. What is the guy? The guy's a redheaded dude originally, probably, and he's got his hair shaped to look like Chief Joseph, one of the Great Plains natives. Alright, I'm babbling. But it's quite comical, right? Picture it. If you didn't know anything about that TV show, and those characters came bailing over your fence, closing on your house, it's gonna be go time. Right? Anyway, funny one. Share my story, howtohunt.com. Get it to me, you guys. Get it out. Get your truth shared no matter what, please. All right? And I'll definitely be back tomorrow.